Your source for the #1 sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370. Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
One of the cool things about getting old in this business, Robin, is that when we were younger, we would meet political people who were older than us.
That's right.
And now we meet political people who are younger than us. and the funny thing about that is some of these young people who are now becoming political, I think, should have been there a long time ago. Evelio Silvera is probably the #1 person that I would apply that description to. Evelio has been a friend of the station for a long time. I guess we got to know you through Dan, right?
Yeah.
You guys were buds.
And when I worked at the chamber, we used to do a weekly chamber update.
Right,
That's
right.
right.
I think it was like on Wednesdays or Thursdays,
right.
every other week.
On the gazebo.
Yeah, and Jillian and I would come and
into the studio at the Cascades.
That's right. That's right.
Where was Jillian? Whatever happened to her?
I think she is working for the company she worked with once before, Paychecks. I'm not sure.
I gave her the biggest
wherever
beads.
Wherever she's at, I'm sure she's being successful. She was tremendous.
You know those beads they give out at Mardi Gras? Well, I had the biggest ones ever, right?
They look like grapefruit.
Yeah.
What did you have to do to get those beads, Larry?
Well, that's between me and Jillian. I swore a piece of paper with an 8 billion year contract, or whatever it was.
And then you gave them to Jillian. So
That's funny.
Anyway, Evelio is here. You are, and I never knew this about you.
Yeah.
That you were working in Tallahassee. I mean, how many years?
Working for State Representative Charlie Stone for 3 now.
But now,
And-
but didn't you say you were there in 2001?
I went to school there to Florida State University, and I worked in the Attorney General's office in the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. That was one of my first half part-time jobs. It was really neat, and did a lot of different internships, and just been blessed by all the opportunities when I was there for school.
Being blessed is an interesting thing to say because right now you're being cursed a little bit. Let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay. What do you mean, Larry?
Your face. Well, because when you're a political candidate, which you are, you announce your candidacy for the Marion County Commission.
That's right.
So now when you come on the air with that topic,
right,
you are. I mean, you can come on as much as you want if you pay for it. You know, there's rules with the FCC.
Right.
But so you can do this. One time.
Yeah.
That's the way they spell out the rules. So
sure. Well, as long as you give an equal opportunity to whoever else is running.
And we do.
Absolutely,
we do. But what that means is that we have to get to the cut to the chase. We have to ask what your thoughts are, what you would do.
Yeah.
Why you want to be that candidate and all that. So those are really important questions.
Yeah.
But first, I have this other less important question.
Okay, a less important question.
Well, because we know you, and I'm just curious about you.
And you've been a tremendous encourager. You and Robin have for a long time. If I would have heeded your advice, I probably would have been sitting doing this interview. Which, by the way, my first media interview as an official candidate, and of course it's with the two of you. I couldn't have scripted it any other way.
Good.
But if I would have listened to the two of yours advice, I probably would have run a long time ago. You've always been a great encourager that I should get involved.
Okay, so let me tell you why.
Okay.
I will tell you why, and then I have my other question.
All right.
So we're postponing the important stuff a little bit longer.
This is what we call the setup, right?
Okay. Well, yeah, I want to explain. Here's what I see in you. I see a guy who knows what's going on. I see a guy, and especially when you and Dan did that show in the afternoons.
We did. For a year.
You allowed me and everybody else who listened to you to hear you say some really insightful things about what should be done, not just locally, but nationally.
Right.
You had some really insightful things. And I said to Robin, listening to you, gosh, he should really run for office. He's got his hand on the pulse better than most people who are actually in office right now.
Well, I appreciate that. That's high praise.
And so that's where it comes from. Plus, I mean, you're obviously a very smart guy. And so I'm not trying to make you feel embarrassed, but I'm just letting you know where it comes from.
Yeah.
Where we're coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
But now my other question.
Sure.
Were your mom and dad involved in politics at all?
You know, my mom and dad came to this country from Cuba, and they actually met here in the United States. Yeah, and my father came over soon after Castro's communist coup d'état, which was New Year's Eve of 1959.
No, wait. This is a Spanish-speaking country. Why is it a coup d'état? Isn't that a French expression?
You know, it's funny enough that it is, but we just call it a coup. Actually, in Spanish, you call it golpe de Estado.
That's better.
That's right.
That's more appropriate.
I'll just say it that way. Un golpe de Estado.
right.
But yeah, so they
don't turn. Oh, yeah. Turned around.
Listen,
turned around.
My better half is here. My lovely wife.
Yeah.
And before I go on to that question,
those glasses are way too big, Lori.
To tell you,
but you're cute as can be. Look at you. Wow.
You know, you were asking earlier about Wiener Schnitzel.
Right.
Well, my wife and both sides of her family, she's German.
Oh, is that right?
And Wiener Schnitzel is simply veal,
right?
Thin veal, boneless veal, breaded.
I thought it was smacked with a hammer.
Well, yeah, of course, to thin it out. That hammer that's got the little notches in it, so that you can.
Yeah,
they call that like a meat thinner.
You pound it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How come the model has the camera? Shouldn't the model be behind the camera?
She should be in the.
By the
way,
Lori, you got first lady looks. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this.
Yes, you do.
You do have first lady looks.
I tell everybody that I married way out of my league.
You are so pretty. Look at you.
If I can convince Lori to marry me, there's not much else that I can't do.
Are you both going to get in? Are you doing the interview? No.
No. She's here for support and to take some photos. Because, you know, if you don't put something on Facebook, it never really happened.
I know, exactly.
Okay.
But we'll get back to what you were saying.
Okay, so your mom and dad, they moved from Cuba.
My mom and dad came to this country from Cuba. My father served, and he came by himself on something. He was a
boat.
Well, he actually came over in Operation Peter Pan. The Catholic churches, they called it that because all the children left and they didn't come with their parents.
Oh.
And these were kids that were in boarding schools, in the Catholic universities and schools. My father was in his second year of college studying to be an engineer, and he came over and he didn't have any family over here. And he immediately joined the Air Force and dedicated himself there. And my mother came over a different way.
What do you mean by dedicated himself?
He served his country. He served in the United States Air Force.
Okay.
And my mother, they hadn't met in Cuba. They met here in the United States in Miami. But my mother came over with her family in 1961. And they were actually vacationing. Funny story. They were here for Thanksgiving and Christmas in 1959. And Castro does his golpe de Estado. Is that better for you, Larry?
Thank you.
On New Year's Eve of 59 to 60. So they came, they went back when they could early in 60, got their things together, and then got out and came here permanently to the United States. And she worked in the banking industry. She was studying to be a teacher, and she worked in the banking industry here. She was an interior decorator. She worked with my father, who was a general contractor. And so when they met in Miami, and you can't lose your country and not be politically involved.
Well, and you know what? And now that I know that, it's kind of similar to the Marco Rubio story.
It is.
In a way.
It is.
And you get to understand why he's so passionate about America.
Absolutely.
And I'm guessing that applies to you, too.
You know, my father...
Not to necessarily associate you with him, but...
No, and that's absolutely fine. My father was a great patriot. He didn't believe in hyphenated Americans. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I applied to Florida State University, about to graduate high school, I'm applying to all these schools, and I got back a scholarship and admitted to the honors program. And they sent back with the letter a copy of my application. And he saw that I checked other and put Cuban American under my ethnicity.
Oh.
And he got upset.
Oh, wow.
And he said, "You're an American, and you're going to earn this opportunity for a scholarship. And I want to know from the admissions people that you've earned this scholarship based on the merit of what you've done in the classroom."
Beautiful.
And how you've served. And so sure enough, we took a campus visit to Tallahassee. And this was kind of embarrassing for me, as he stood there and he said, "Unless you can tell me that my son, by his grades, by his testing, and by his extracurricular activities, earned this scholarship, I don't want him attending this school if it's just because his parents happen to come from Cuba."
Wonderful.
And so that's instilled in me.
Do they live here?
My father passed away after a 7-year battle with chronic lymphatic leukemia in 2001.
Oh, wow.
And he's buried in the Veterans Cemetery in Bay Pines in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, okay.
And my mother came to retire here in Ocala from Fort Myers, which is where I grew up in Florida. In about 2008, she lives in on top of the world.
Oh, nice.
And
we've met your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. She might be your biggest fans.
Where did we meet her? Oh, at the garage.
At Matt's. At Matt's Garage over at Sunrise Auto.
Yeah.
See, I don't want people to know the kind of car I drive. I want them to think I'm really rich.
Oh, yeah.
But they see my car, they go, oh, he's not.
But you know what? Your car is reliable, and that's really good. Oh, shit.
Do you know that jinxes it when you say that?
Okay, I won't jinx it.
I'm looking at Laura
I won't jinx it.
to poke you. Okay. So we have to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to ask the real questions.
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty.
About being a county commissioner in Marion County.
All right.
We'll take that break right now. We'll be right back. Evelio Silvera is here.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a shower and thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours, the high 82 to 86. And mostly cloudy overnight. There can be a shower left over near the coast. Low 67 well inland, 73 on the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a shower and thunderstorm in the area, mainly during the afternoon hours, the high 83 to 87. For Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, high 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us. Monday at 9 a.m., Bern Paraiso will be our roving medical reporter to tell us about Seven Hill Gastroenterology PA and Dr. Reddy. We'll discuss screening, techniques, and more. So tune in and listen. This is more than news you can use. It's news that could save your life. That's Monday at 9:05 a.m.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Sure, extroverted leaders are charismatic, but an introvert's tendency to be patient and think things over carefully can lead to better results. Couples need to get serious about making clear rules about technology in their relationship. For example, establish cell phone free zones with your partner, starting with the bedroom. You want to make other people think you're smarter, nicer, and totally together? Do this one thing. Ask them for advice.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Black Cow composted cow manure is a terrific organic soil amendment. We start with cow manure from dairy farms and then compost it a full 90 days. The result is an all-natural, dark, rich soil amendment that's great for everything you grow. Flowers, vegetables, shrubs, trees, and lawns too. Look for Black Cow in the bright yellow and black bag at your favorite nursery or garden center.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
All right, 12 minutes before 11 o'clock. Evelio Silvera is in the studio. Evelio is a friend of ours. He's also a friend of the station, and we know him actually because of this station. And he's running to be one of the county commissioners here in Marion County. He's been involved in politics for a long time. Currently, you're the legislative assistant. Is that what your title is?
Yeah, I'm a legislative aide for State Representative Charlie Stone, and then I'm the president of a digital marketing firm called Punch and Pie.
Punch and Pie?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because more people will come if you have punch and pie.
Nice.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was beer and wine or beer and pretzels. I mean.
The way we roll is punch and pie.
Today? Oh, no, it was yesterday, right? It was Apple Pie Day? Whatever.
That's
Really?
right.
Oh, yesterday was
National
Dance Like a
Apple.
Chicken Day, whatever.
That's right.
Exactly.
And tomorrow's Explore Your Tangent Day, which we did in the first part of the
We did.
our interview.
We
So
did.
we covered that.
We've been doing that pretty well all day today. All right, let's not do that right now.
Okay.
Right now, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
What do you see in Marion County that you think needs addressing? Not necessarily fixing, but addressing.
Absolutely. You know, the entire reason why I'm running for county commission is because I believe that this is a place that should be known for unbridled opportunity. For
Good word
businesses,
for a horse town.
Absolutely. For businesses, for individuals, for families. This should be a place where we have an environment created where everyone can grow and thrive. And I know that sounds like highfalutin talk, but it really is driving what I believe needs to come from our leaders, and that is a proactive, positive vision. And if I have any criticism or complaint of government in general, and how we can impact it here on a local level, is that we tend to be reactive. We wait for there to be a problem, and then we react. And oftentimes we should be proactive. Here's what I mean by that. Let's take one of the things that I like to talk about is our investment in our roads and infrastructure. In Marion County, I believe we are the commerce crossroads of Florida. We are just blessed with a geographic location that makes us prime for so many types of businesses and investment, as well as people that are living here their best years of their life and people that are investing in this area that are crossing through this area.
Which is why they wanted to make this a dry port, they called it, right?
That's right, an inland port. Right. Absolutely right. But we've got this opportunity where the state, through DOT, is redoing the Wildwood interchange for the Turnpike. We have something called the Veterans Expressway that comes up through Hillsborough and Pasco County that's turning into the Sunshine Expressway. Those two things have great magnitude for the future of commerce and transportation in the state of Florida. And they have the ability to drop off and impact Marion County. If we are looking not to the next election cycle, but are looking 10, 20, 30 years down the road, and with our budget and priorities are saying if we do the job now of planning our infrastructure and our roads the right way, we get a twofold impact and benefit of that. Number one, we put growth in the areas where we've determined it should be so we can stay conscious of protecting the natural beauty of Marion County. And two, we put ourselves in an area where, just like Orange County and Orlando, when they built the Greenway 417, people called it a toll road to nowhere. Mm-hmm. Now, if you drive on it, University of Central Florida, McDonnell Douglas, shops, investment, distribution centers. That's what we could see here in Marion County. We've got a good first step with the 489 property where FedEx is going, but there's a lot of congestion on 200. There's room for growth and expansion and new things on 27. We should probably have another interchange from the interstate. And then internally, our roads and our neighborhoods and communities need our attention. Osceola Boulevard out here stops right there at 200 when it could go all the way through and connect to the Meadowbrook complex. Now, I know a lot of these things are not new. There are things that folks have already discussed on the county level, but we wait until we get the report that says there's too much congestion here, or we're a year away from the state doing some major road construction, and by then it's too late. If we haven't made those priorities and we haven't parted those things out, we miss the opportunity.
And the very thing I saw in you when listening to the afternoon radio show you did was that ability to look to the future.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I did see. So I can see that you would be good at that.
Some people, Larry, I just make a comment. Some people get into politics and they lead looking through the rearview mirror. What happened?
Wonderful,
what happened? What happened?
Thing to say.
That's not me. I lead looking through the windshield.
But let me ask you this,
Sure.
and I know I'm asking you to be critical by asking this question.
No, that's okay.
But are there examples of dropping the ball, for example? Oh, and also, are there examples of money guys preventing us from doing? Wasn't it a money guy who stopped us from extending that Osceola Boulevard the way you just described?
I think that there were some landowners. A lot of that is property within the city, and they couldn't negotiate and get it done. At the end of the day, I don't want to say if it was a money guy or what the problem was. It's about this is what's best for the community, and we've got to find a solution, and we've got to make it happen. Let me explain it to you this way. And this is actually this is great, particularly for the listeners to understand the prism by which I view and will view issues. And that is, I'm pledging to look at every department of government, every line of the county budget, and have two filters, two questions that I ask. First, if we weren't doing this already, how would we do it? When you ask that first question, that's where you get the savings as a taxpayer of, do we need to cross-train employees? Do we have the right departments to meet the needs that we have? Second, and more importantly, the filter is, should we be doing it? Is it the proper function of government to do it the way that we've been doing it? And really that actually, when you look at the three things that I think we need to tackle, first is public safety. That's the highest priority of government. Second, our roads and infrastructure. And third, making sure we have a business climate that is predictable. And having the opportunity to work with startup companies, venture capital companies, publicly traded companies on their communication side through my company. Over the years, and even my work here at the local chamber when I was the Vice President of Business Development and Public Affairs, what I notice is People want to know predictability. If they're going to make an investment, they're making an investment for the long haul. If someone owns a pizza shop or a beauty salon, before they go to hire the next person, they need to know, well, if I'm going to be hit with this fee, or if I'm going to be hit with this tax, I may not make the investment to hire someone else, which is the biggest thing they can do, because government, Larry, Robin, you know this, government doesn't create jobs, but they create an environment where those individual businesses can thrive and succeed. So if we're predictable, meaning that we have a predictable tax system, keeping them low, and as lean of a regulatory structure as possible, then we create an environment where every business, we don't pick winners and losers in the marketplace. Oh, we want this business, we want that business. No. Tony at the pizza shop, his one employee is just as important of a hire as a distribution center, going in that's multi-million dollars.
Which is good to hear. But taking that statement, we don't play favorites, or however you phrased it.
Yeah, we don't pick winners and losers in the marketplace. That's
okay.
Right.
No, we've had examples of municipal money, whether it's the county or the city or the state.
That's right.
That said, oh, let's bail this company out.
Right.
Let's put some tax money into this so that it doesn't fail.
That's right.
What's a good example of
Marion
that?
Theater?
The Marion Theater is an example of that on a small level. I'm not picking on them.
But let me
Wasn't
tell you.
E1 an example of that?
Excuse me?
E1, didn't we bail out E1?
Well, there was a lot of people that wanted to bail out E1. There was a lot of pressure in the community.
Not that I wanted to see them fail.
No, nobody wants to see them fail. But
nobody bailed out in any small venture that we've ever been in, like WTMC.
Hey, you're absolutely right. And the Marion Theater is a good example, because I know Buddy Martin has a show later on in the air here on WOCA. He was on another radio station at the time, but he rallied the public to come together and save the Marion Theater, not for wanting government to do it, but wanting people to get together and get it done.
That's the way to do it.
For instance, I think, you read about there are businessmen that have purchased what was the old Ocala Entertainment Complex, and they want to put in a banquet hall or a meeting center. They're not asking for a government package. They're doing it on their own. And I think that there are plenty of opportunities for us to get all the things that we believe, all the accoutrement, if you will, of a growing, thriving community, whether it be arenas or convention centers or different things for us to do, not by government spending you and my dollars on it and putting more burden on property owners through higher ad valorem taxes, but by creating that environment and having a forward-looking government that is responsive and proactive and is dealing with the things that make those decision makers say, we know where this community is going and headed in the next 2 decades. We can make a significant investment here. And what you find in the states and communities like us and other states where they've seen big growth is because they've laid out a vision. We've had good things. We have a solid waste situation that's taken care of for a good while. We've got a tremendous manufacturing park in 489 and the further growth of the Meadowbrook complex. We've got a lot of thriving things happening in Bellevue and Summerfield in the southern part of our county. And here's the beautiful thing. Marion County is greater than any one particular city. I know sometimes people get involved in what's going on in Delenn or what may or may not be happening in Ocala or Bellevue. But Marion County as a whole can be an economic driver from agribusiness, with our farms and our horses, from agricultural tourism, from good old-fashioned tourism, and from manufacturing and distribution. That's why I say we're at the commerce crossroads. But we need a steady hand at government that is predictable in how they view every issue. And viewing those issues is making sure you know what the priorities of government are, being responsive to the taxpayers, and being proactive in dealing with an issue, not after it's in your face, but doing the best you can in a limited structure way, always leaning towards advancing the liberty of individuals and businesses to make sure that you don't have that problem to begin with.
Well, you were born later, and this is something else I've seen in you before, because I've often said that an elected official should not only be there for legislative purposes. It shouldn't just be about creating laws. It should be taking a leadership role, standing up at a microphone or at a town gathering and just saying things that are more along. I wouldn't want a law against smoking, but I definitely want a campaign to persuade people to stop smoking.
Sure.
I don't want the tax money paying for the theater, but I do want a campaign like Buddy did, where you and I say, yeah, let's support this thing, So I love the leadership qualities that you have displayed over the years, and of course right now doing a wonderful job.
Well, I appreciate that, Larry. And it's 1,600 square miles is Marion County. It's larger than the state of Rhode Island. And, there's 18 months till the primary in 2016. People say, boy, you're getting in awfully early. It takes a lot of time to walk around the county, go to different meetings, knock on doors, and listen to people. This is still a republic. This is still a representative form of government. And I just share the way I view issues. But this is a team effort. I believe in this county. I believe this can be a place of unbridled opportunity. And I think a good positive message that tells people there's more that's right with Marion County than what's wrong with Marion County is exactly what we need.
Great interview. Great. Evelio, good luck in everything you do.
I appreciate you.
Whatever you do, whatever you get elected to, you are a great contribution. You are making this world a better place.
Thank you, Larry. People can go to votesilvera.com to learn more.
Okay, votesilvera.com?
Yeah.
Okay, Silvera. Robin will put that on Facebook.
Thanks.
I didn't mean to cut the idea off. All right, this is WOCA Ocala. Thank you, Evelio.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. Our military confirms the wreckage of a Marine helicopter that went down in Nepal has been found.
At this time, I'm